Alright. Now, let's see if we can actually set this up in a way. No, that's still kind of too far angled up. Excuse me, everybody. I was just getting myself situated here before I get started. Alright. Maybe this will help. I'm starting to get a reflection. I'm seeing people with that reflection in the chat. Hey, how's it going, Fish? I'm doing okay, man. Doing better than I was last night and the night before. How about you? Let's see, switch that to live chat. Alright. There we go. So I am streaming from my tablet because my phone is still fucked up. And so, without further ado, hey guys, welcome to the knife stream. This is actually the third knife stream I've done talking about knives, but the other one was kind of talking about Christmas gifts, so I'm not really counting that as a knife stream. But I think this is a series that I do want to start doing. I'm doing alright. I've had class until 10 p.m. Alright, man. Yeah, no, I'm dealing right now with an abscessed tooth, and it's been a fucking bitch, but I'm alive. How's it going, Scott? So, yeah, so I'm not counting the Christmas stream where I was talking about knives for Christmas, but there was a stream before that where I did knives. So I'm counting that as the first knife stream. So today, I'm doing the second knife stream. Now, why am I doing the second knife stream? Well, if you didn't know, I am going back to the slabs to go visit and probably to help build, because if you guys haven't heard already, Tommy from Shepherd's Treehouse is returning to the slabs as we speak. He is on his way to there now. Should be there tonight. Oof. Ugh, something flew in the wind and I caught it in my mouth. Ugh. So I did promise Tommy that I'm going to go and help him rebuild. Now that I know he was there, I kind of wish I would have planned things out so I could stay there longer. I only planned for a weekend, so... But I'll take advantage of the moment. But, of course, one thing I got to do before I go there is I got to go to the dentist, take care of this. Because, again, this is giving me issues lately. But enough about that. Again, this is the knife stream. So, since I am going back to the slabs, and if you guys don't know, there was not too long ago a knife incident that happened at Slab City. There was a recent video made by Alien where Alien actually had footage of where the guy who was the victim of the stabbing had to be helicopter ridden to, I guess, the nearest hospital. And basically he has a big gash in his ass now, and, you know, with a bunch of staples. And, to the guy who survived that, glad you made it out. We've never met. I don't think I should have ever met you to say, I hope you didn't deserve that. It doesn't sound like you really deserved that, and I hope that you are a little more cautious and have a way to protect yourself now. But anyways, so since I am going back to the slabs, one of the things that I've talked about is in the last video where I talked about my last trip to the slabs, I took a lot of stuff. I really took way too much stuff. I took a 10x9 pop-up cabin tent, a air mattress, 2 coolers, 55-gallon drum, and a bunch of other stuff with me, and most of it I really didn't even get to use. And when I got there, I kind of realized myself, yeah, that was pretty much a lot for me to bring for the short amount of time that I ended up staying to begin with anyways. So I don't want to make that same mistake this time. But yeah, with that knife incident going on, I've been very conscious about protection while I'm out there. And while I do have much better means of protection than the knife, but that will be a stream or video for something, another time. Knives are very common, easy to get, very handy tool. Notice that I'm not calling it a weapon, I'm calling it a tool, and that's really what a knife is a tool. You can use it for multiple purposes. Self-defense is just one aspect of it. Yes, some knives are designed better than others for self-defense, but overall, a knife is a tool, okay? So another thing I've been doing lately is practicing or trying to practice a concept called SAWC, size and weight constraint, by switching down how much stuff I can carry. Let's say like for survival emergency situations. That's where, you know, pack number one here comes in. This is a G for free tactical sling bag. Basically, it's a very small backpack, one sling. I mean, it, ha- it has the hookup right here to stabilize it, but overall general idea, it's a very light, small pack. I've almost have this set up to my desire. So on the inside, basically this is where the tablet that I'm using right now to stream will go. I have the 20,000 milliamp 5 volt power bank that I picked up from Amazon for about, it was like $16. I am thinking about picking up a second one to take with me. But if I do that, I'm going to make sure that the input charge is a lot greater than this one. Let me show you guys right there. See, it can put out, it has one port that puts out 1 amp and it has one port that puts out 2 amps. The problem is the input or the charging is 1 amp. So 20,000 milliamps is 20 amps. So it's going to take 20 hours to charge this thing. So while it serves me well, and it has served me well for camping and just being in the car, the slow charge doesn't help. So, I mean, if I put this on a solar system right now, I can probably charge it halfway. And that would be it. So, again, I'm thinking about getting a second one. Just try to find one with a faster charge. In here is a small 1.5 liter hydration system with bite valve and everything for water. Well, right now it's cold, so I'm not really worried about using that too much, but it's good to have. In this little bag I have up here, I have a bunch of little electronic components that I carry. Basically, audio splitter, multi-memory card reader, audio plug for computers, for old style computers that only have the separate audio and recording port to turn it into one. Spare headphones, charging cord, and then another cool thing to have are these things right here. They're called micro USB OTG adapters. You can get them on Amazon for like a 5-pack for $6, and it'll turn a standard USB cord into a micro USB. If you don't have a micro USB and you just have the regular ones, you can use the regular one to charge your phone or anything else that you have on you. Now, the reason I'm showing you guys this, and there's also another pack, this one right here. This is also from G for Free. This is their tactical waist pack. So this will be going on my waist. Is because, again, I'm practicing size and weight constraint. So what does that have to do with knives? Well, if you guys know, again, some knives are big, some knives are heavy. Some of my favorite knives, like the kukri, for example, is a heavy knife. I mean, now, for what happened over there in the slabs, believe me, guys, I would really like to just carry this on me 24/7. It would probably be the best thing for me to carry defensive-wise. I mean, blade is 12 inches long, so I got plenty of reach. I don't have to use my strength to make a bad, disgusting, grotesque cut on somebody, because the weight of the blade is at the front, so it's going to want to go down. So I don't have to put a lot of energy into basically cutting with it. But it is heavy. This thing weighs about 2 pounds. It's a very, very big blade to catch attention as well. And, while I want to defend myself, and I want to be able to defend myself as best as possible, I'm not really trying to draw attention to myself. And this is a very ordained, semi-exotic knife in some places. So this is not going to be ideal for a size and weight constraint situation. Now, I'm obviously going in my car, and practically, yeah, if I was going camping, I would take this with me. to keep in the car for chopping wood or anything like that. But I do have alternative options. You guys have seen it in my other video, the 8-inch EGKH Kukri, the Afghan model. I don't have it with me right here right now. It's actually in my car. I'm too lazy to go fucking get it. That one has about an 8-inch blade and a 5-inch handle. It could barely fit in this bag here. Obviously, though, I'm not too worried about that because it's going to be going on my waist anyways. But I would rather the blade fit in the bag, either the waist bag or the tactical bag. Now, there is a way for me to basically carry something as big as that kukri in a similar style, but I was obviously be sacrificing some of the advantages that this kukri would give me. Cold steel kukri machete. Now this is brand new. I was actually going to send this one out as a gift to somebody in the UK, and they didn't have a PO box anymore. Then I was going to send it out to somebody that I'm sub to. They also don't have their PO box anymore, and so I have 2 of these now. I actually keep one of these in my my big emergency bag, but this one has about I think the blade is either 11.5 or a 13-inch blade, so it's pretty close to the one that to the length of the one I already have. It has a very matte black finish on it, anti-rust coating. The handle is actually pretty grippy, and it has a loop at the bottom right here so that I could actually put a lanyard on it just like I do with my other ones. And they say that this is a full tang blade on it. Now, the beauty of this thing, probably just under a pound. You know, this thing is just, what is the this thing here say? Actually, it doesn't give us weight, but I am pretty sure that the kukri machete is under a pound. It's very lightweight. They come factory sharp. The factory sharpness is actually not that bad. Now, the only thing I don't like is that they don't have a point. Let me see, I'll show you guys right there. The point is pretty like rounded off. This one almost looks like it just chipped off. Yeah, no, it didn't chip off because the paint went over it right there. They just didn't add a point to it. For me, that wouldn't be a problem. I could fix that with ease. But something like this would definitely be much more comfortable for me to carry out there. A simple sheath that goes on the belt, so it'll just easily hang from the belt, easily accessible to me. Again, lightweight is the thing, size and weight constraint. But let's get again back to the size issue. Again, I would like for it to fit in this bag. So that, let's say I am somewhere else where I want to carry my pack, I want to carry my gear, but I shouldn't be displaying knives because it could either intimidate people in the public, and I'm not looking to intimidate people. I'm not looking to frighten people. This is just, again, a tool. It's either for the purpose of, you know, gathering firewood, in case of self-defense or anything like that. So I don't want to intimidate anybody with it. Now, I'm still going to carry my pocket knife, and this is my pocket knife right now, and still is. This is the Smith & Wesson 6th generation border guard knife. The Americanized tanto tip, partially serrated. Now, I don't like partially serrated blades, I'll be honest with you guys, but it's the only one that I found. It was $17 when I found it, so, and I just wanted to test out a later generation of these, so this will still always be in my pocket. However, the blade is about, I think, 4 3/4, or 5 inch, yeah, about 4 3/4, 4.5 inches, or just under 5 inches. So I'm not going to have a lot of reach. It is a liner lock blade. I do trust the liner lock on these blades, don't get me wrong. However, you know, it's, as much as you could use it for self-defense, I wouldn't call it a fighting knife. I really wouldn't, but it would do the job. But you always want to have something more. something more is the only way I can put it. One option I've considered, and I still need to make a honest video for this, is the Cold Steel Tantalite. You know, now how much more reach really is it in comparison to my pocket knife? A little bit more, but let's see. Blade starts there, so we got about 2 inches. 2 inches more of reach right there. This is a more solid design. These are full tang, so the material of the blade is going all the way down to the bottom. I don't think it's right here at the end of at this point here, but it is flat out. This grip is much more comfortable, and I have a much firmer grip on it than I do on the Smith & Wesson, and this is much lighter. Also a hell of a lot sharper. Now again, the Cold Steel Tantalites are for German 4116 stainless steel. So this is surgical grade and medical grade steel. They hold a really good edge. Now, if you guys look online, there's a video by a guy named Nut and Fancy, and he does some very excellent knife and tactical gear and gun videos. And only problem is he's one of those guys that makes videos that you gotta have a time in the day to sit down and watch, because you know, dude could talk about half hour, 45 minutes just about one thing. And kudos to the guy, but I don't know. I think I'd bore you people real quick if I started doing that kind of shit, you know. But this is definitely a good option. The tip is definitely not something you want to mess with. It's not as it is not as piercing made as the Americanized Tanta right there. As you can see, the grooves from the top are cut down into it to make it give it more piercing capability. But again, I think this would definitely do the job. It's thick enough. It's about almost 3 mil. The sheath is a very simple sheath. It grabs on. You know, you got to give it a good tug to actually pull it out. Again, just easily just clips onto your belt. You don't really, I honestly, with this is so light, I can honestly just wear, because I don't really wear belts. I'm in drawstring pants. I can actually, and I have, carry this, you know, hanging down from the drawstring pants easily, and it's not gonna weigh me down. Again, this is honestly, this knife right here is almost 2.5 times, if anything, 3 times the weight of this knife right here. So you know, this here would be a great option. There's another one from Cold Steel called the Outdoorsman Light. I do plan to get that one, but when I do get that one, I'm actually going to make that exclusively my fishing knife because of the design of it. And I'll be talking more about that maybe in a separate streamer video, because knives for fishing actually are something that I would like to cover, but I do need to do my own research on as well. Now, aside from your everyday carry knife, in this case the self-defense knife, there is another knife that you should always consider getting in your pack, and this is not going to be one that is predominantly one for, again, multitasker. It should be capable of it. But let me show you guys what I have here. It's another Cold Steel knife. Also comes in its own little hard plastic sheath. By the way, cool thing also about these sheaths, guys, is especially right now that it's raining, they have drain holes at the bottom. So does the one for the Tantalite, and that's very important right now, especially right now here in LA that we've been having rain, and they've been getting rain and slabs out as well. It's already beautiful that the 4116 stainless steel has really high anti-rust properties, but having the drain hole makes it even better, so that you can make sure that water is out of the blade as soon as possible. Now, this little guy here, I also picked up from Amazon for less than 10 bucks. This is the Canadian belt knife by Cold Steel, made out of the same metal, German 4116 Krupp. They are made in Taiwan. This one also has a hole right here in the guard, or grip, sorry, so that you can put a lanyard in it. And basically, these knives, to give you a little bit of history, is these were skinning knives, as from what I understand it. These are general, either skinning knives or just generic utility knives that they used to carry back in the days in Canada. And I heard these knives were actually popular in the West as well with hunters. So there's other types of small knives like these. Cold Steel makes another one, which has a really nice curve called the Roach Belly, which I was also considering for, using in water, but I like this one. These are hollow ground, by the way, so that means they are very easy to sharpen. One side, other side, just even strokes. So let me put that back in the same way. Now, one thing I do like that this knife has over the Tanto, the grip marks here at the top, so that I can put my thumb right there, and that gives me really good control of the knife. So this actually will be, this is what I'm basically using this is for food processing. So if I'm gonna cut, I have broken teeth right now, so I'm not gonna go try and eat a fucking apple right now. So if I need to cut up an apple, I need to cut up fruit, vegetables, meat, I have a little knife, little utility knife right here, or semi-utility knife that I can use to do so, process my food. Yes, you can definitely use something like this for self-defense. This is pretty light. This is lighter than this. Like you, with thing with small knives and self-defense is the rule of thumb is the smaller the knife you carry, the more of a handicap you give yourself. In the sense that you're shortening the possibility of adding distance between you and whoever's attacking you. Also, you have to be a little more considerate of when you're going to strike with a small knife, because yes, a small knife can be very dangerous in the right hands. You just actually have to know where to cut. And if you don't know where to cut, you're just going to end up cutting fat or tissue. And if that person can resist that pain, or you're too slow, you're going to get countered very easily. So, but this would make a good self-defense knife if you were insistive of, being like that. But again, carry it in here for food processing. Another important thing though about knives, guys, is keeping them sharp. And there is a tool that I picked up on Amazon that I actually liked a lot. Songain. I'm probably gonna have to put the link in the description, but I found these little honing stones on or honing steels on Amazon for about $6 to $7. Orange costs you $6. Black, you get it for $7. They have a 400 grit on one side and a 600 grit on the other. And the beauty of these is they're portable, they're lightweight. They will help keep the knife sharp. Like, listen to me, they will help keep your knife sharp. Okay, that is what they will do. Now, if you drop your knife in concrete and get a chip in it, or some serious damage, you're going to need something bigger, a bigger stone, and actually work on that at home. This is for on the field. So, again, carry something to sharpen your knives. Now, let me bring this back out. These two knives, again, they're similar styles. The blades are just slightly, the blade lengths are smaller. This is about a 4 3/4 inch blade, so it's about an inch and a quarter, inch and a half bigger on this one here. Now, obviously, this one is a liner lock, meaning that you have a small piece of metal right there that's basically holding that knife in place where it's at, locked in the, ready to use position. And one issue that could happen, I've never had this happen, but it could happen, is that if you have where you grip here, they have teeth right there for you to hold on to. But if you were to grip and suddenly, pull on this by accident and you hit something hard, that knife is going to fold back and potentially cut whatever's there. Now, probably not going to cut them all off. Might cut one off, but it's probably not going to cut them all off. Still not something you'd want to deal with in a self-defense situation. That is where the fixed blade is ideal. And again, because of the fact that the blade steel is gone all the way in a full tang, this is going to be much lighter than a folding knife, because not only do you have the metal of the blade here, you have a metal liner on the inside, you have the handle material, you have metal fittings, you have the metal liner itself. This one particularly has a metal clip, a seatbelt cutter, and a glass breaker, so that adds on weight and more metal to it. The basic advantage to this is that you can carry this discreetly, concealed, legally in most parts of the world. Whereas a fixed blade is a whole different story. Even in California, it is illegal to carry a fixed blade of 2 inches or more, I believe, concealed. I'm not a lawyer, just letting you know, legal warning. Don't, this is not legal advice, all that shit. But you can carry a fixed blade out in the open in most places in California. Now, dipshit places like San Francisco and Los Angeles have made laws where you can't carry any knife open in public, even if it's one that the state allows you to. But again, they are dipshits, so as long as you live outside of any place that does that, you should be fine. Again, now, what do I mean by carrying in the open? Guess I'll stand. Let me put this a little forward. What I mean by open carrying the knife is you're going to basically carry it in a way that it can be seen, by the general public. It is not concealed. It's not hiding it under my shirt. That's another important thing I want to talk to you guys about. When you are carrying a knife like this in any place that allows it to, one thing that can cause you issues is having too long of a shirt and it covers the hilt of the knife. If a cop wants to be a dick or get serious with you, he can say you're concealing the knife. Especially with this shirt, if I lean like this to the side here, I can pretty much conceal that knife. So if you're going to carry a knife like that, you got to do one of two things. Obviously, tuck your shirt in. Usually, I tuck my inside shirt because I wear layers when it's cold, and then the outside, I'll just I'd have to hold like this so that the knife is still visible, and that way I'm not breaking the law. Now, again, this one has the clip, so I'm wearing drawstring pants. There are the drawstrings, so easily can carry this. This is so much more lighter. It's much lighter than my knife right there. It's much lighter than my keys. Honestly, this thing's lighter than my wallet. Okay, so this would probably, honestly, from what I have right now, this would be the ideal thing to carry at a place like the Slabs, especially if I'm going to practice a size, weight, and constraint ordeal. Now, as far as drawing, that can be a little bit of an issue when you're carrying soft pants. Now, my trick is I usually like to push off with my thumb, or pushing down with the blade here, onto the sheath, and then pulling up. Okay, try to find a way to carry the knife in a method that when you pull it out of the sheath, you can use it immediately. So at an angle doesn't bother me. Honestly, at an angle I can get it out faster. If I have to stab. By the way, this is where a lot of people will start bullshitting and talking about one knife technique is better than the other, this and that. From the videos that I've seen online of people fighting with knives, from my own personal research into the matter, uh, basic things I have to say, if there was 3 rules I can give you, uh, as far as the whole knife fighting goes, is first rule is don't get into the fucking knife fight in general. Don't. Guys, knife fights are worse than getting shot. Why do I say that? Well, okay. The biggest common bullet that's being carried right now in a handgun is a 45 caliber bullet. It is .45 on an inch, so it's less than half an inch fucking long. If it's a hollow point bullet, there might be a chance that it could expand to maybe about, say about a little bit over 5, maybe 5/8 of an inch, so a little bit bigger than half an inch. But there's a good chance you could still survive being shot by a bullet. Okay. The problem with knives and getting attacked with a knife is, especially as if you guys saw Alien's video with the gentleman who was attacked, is a very sharp knife can do a lot of damage very quick, and another thing, very quietly. I'm pretty sure the only thing that alerted anybody that this guy was stabbed was, the only few things that could have led anybody to tell this person that they were stabbed was a blood trail. Excuse me, my dog's going nuts. What's wrong with you? It's LA, whatever. Okay. A sharp knife can do a lot of damage. It's going to, it's going to cut through, arteries. It's going to cut through veins. It's going to cut through muscle. All of that would have to be reattached by surgery, and that fucking sucks. With guns, at least most often, more people in crime settle for common cheap bullets, straight up Full Metal Jacket, and often Full Metal Jackets, as long as they don't hit a bone, will go through and through. So that's a small hole. A knife can really fuck you up. So if you're not ready to do that to somebody, and if you're not ready to have that done to you yourself, because here's the thing, you can, regardless of whether you know how to fight a knife, the reality is, if you do, eventually you are going to get cut by a knife. So best thing to do is just don't fucking do the knife fighting. All right, don't get into knife fight. Okay. Now, second rule: the first person to make the first cut usually ends up being the winner. Why do I say that? Well, because it's true. It's true for most things. Usually, the person who makes the first strike, and as long as they're tactile and strategic, and put enough effort and even power into it, they're usually gonna win. Especially with a knife. If, for example, something like this Cold Steel Tanto, even though this is the light, this is just their stainless steel $20 fucking Tanto. Even this $20 knife, if it did the first strike at 6 inches, I can cut deeply into somebody, cut a major artery, and basically begin the bleed out process. Okay. In knife fighting, most people die from that, is bleeding out, and it's not pretty. So if you make the first cut and the cut ends up being somewhere vital, the neck, the arteries, the dick, you give yourself the advantage. And at that point, the best thing you can do is just don't get yourself cut. If you can cut and not get yourself cut, great. Finally, the third thing that'll help you out in a knife fight is know your surroundings and know your knife. Okay, basically know what you have to deal with. All right. So I don't have I've only carried this a few times. It's not easy to carry this when I'm not when I'm in a have to carry it basically when I'm not in LA County. So if I want to actually have a real carry practice with it, because even hiking there can be issues. So don't have too much practice with it, and it's something that you should always have a practice. What are the laws for carrying a knife? In California, in general, for fixed blades, there is no legal limit that I know of at the moment. The except the rule is though it has to be open carry. You may not conceal carry a fixed blade weapon, or sorry, a fixed blade knife. Um, well, then Gerald, that doesn't. Then it's not a knife. It's not a knife fight anymore, though. Okay. So yeah, there's no blade limit, but it has to be out in the open. Butterfly knives over 2 inches are illegal. Switchblade and automatic knives are illegal at past 2 inches. Okay. Which, by the way, I will say this right now: butterfly knives are pretty. Uh, there are some really nice old school Italian stiletto switchblades out there, legitimate ones. I'm not talking about like a lot of the cheap stuff from the 80s and 90s from Hong Kong, but they're not that great for self-defense knives. Really, they're just really quick using sharp knives. Hey, Mad Mac, and Gerald, I didn't say hi to you. Jim, hey. But yeah, back to Jim's. Keep answering Jim's question here. Uh, Now, of course, certain cities will vary. Jim, for example, LA, there's no carrying of fixed blades at all. Certain cities in LA, 3 inch, 3.5 inches, and it can vary. Oh, it was just a joke. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I didn't see that joke. But yeah, ever since that whole knife incident with the slabs, it really got me thinking about, you know, the whole self defense thing out there. Again, I have other ways, I have better ways to defend myself. It's just, I don't want to use the word. I guess you could say this is a, to quote Obi-Wan Kenobi, this is an elegant weapon for a more civilized age. Kind of shit, or just maybe I'm just that stupid idealistic. But yeah, safety is now a big concern. So I do have to think about what I would carry out there, and I love my kukris very much. I'm going to Mac. I'm going to try going there in January. For only thing I got to take care of right now after the holidays is I got to get rid of these fucking. I got one broken molar here, and I got two broken right here. I gotta get these fuckers done, and I'll just pull them out. I can't afford the fucking root canal. I just want them to take them the fuck out and be done with it. I've been fucking taking high fucking amounts of fucking Tylenol, fucking ibuprofen, and fucking smoking a shit ton of weed, drinking now just to fucking you know, Jim. They if you don't know what they are, yeah, they do. If you don't know what they are, yeah, they do. But at the same time, uh, the butterfly knife has one bad thing is you have to show it to use it. I think I still have a butterfly knife somewhere in my safe, but from the set, a guy, basically he was a customer at the old shop I worked at. He passed away, and he was buddies with a coworker there, and he had left some stuff for me apparently, and he left me some old knives of his, for like frost cutlery knives from the 1970s, back when stuff our cheap stuff was made in Japan, not China and Taiwan. So, and I have some of it over there, and one of them was actually a butterfly knife. But again, you have to flip the butterfly knife open to use it. So, for example, if somebody came at me with a butterfly knife and I had a gun, my response is quicker. They're done. If it's a very flashy butterfly knife, which unfortunately some of them are, some of them are very bright, very like that chrome color. You're gonna give yourself off right away. Now, again, that's if you're smart. One thing I tell people, point blank shooting is really not a good idea. If you can push the person away first and then draw your gun out and shoot, then that's actually honestly better. Or push them away and get your knife out, that's better. But you might not have that option. So, but yeah, definitely something like this for right now with that situation that happened in the slabs is pretty good. This is 6 inches, so this is respectable for as far as the reach department goes. Now again, I have that little kukri in the car, and that one's 8 inches. That one wouldn't be so bad either. I just don't fucking like the color. Um, I don't. I just ended up not liking it so much. Um, but yeah, something like this is definitely, uh, I would say, Slab City self defense capable. Let me say Slab City SD SCSDB. There you go. Slab City self defense capable. Um, Now again, this is about 3 mil thick. Another knife that would be in this general area and size that would be a good option for, let's say, if you guys don't have a local knife shop, which I'm pretty sure most of you don't. I actually found out that the one I used to work for might be going under not too long. It doesn't seem like the knife shop itself is actually doing any good. The old boss seems to have refocused on superhero stuff, and that's what actually people want because there's movies about it. Um, but yeah, Walmart will probably be the one place that people will be looking for something like this. Those buck knives that I've kind of talked down about will be acceptable in a place like that. Um, Again, what cool thing is you don't have to really worry about rust out in the slabs. It's a desert. I can't imagine the humidity being that bad for the most part of the year out there. Um, just keep the blade sharp. Uh, Now, consider that if you do get one of those cheap Walmart knives and you drop it on the concrete slab, even if the concrete slab is 50 plus years old, 8 out of 10, that blade will chip. Be prepared to either A, know how to repair it, which it's not hard, guys. You best thing you can do. Actually, oh no, it's not on here. I know I have the Harbor Freight catalog, and in the Harbor Freight catalog right now they have diamond the diamond stone honing blocks. They go for about $12.99. I think they're on sale right now for $9. You guys can pick up one of those. Uh, Pick up some honing oil, and it has a 200, 300, 400, and 600 grit. So you just go buy each one, and you can bring your knife back to life. Now, obviously, if it has a really bad chip or a crack, you're probably going to just end up having to throw it away. No, I'm sorry, I just missed that. Knife shops around here sell cool looking knives and non-functional. Jim, that's unfortunate, and I'm guilty of working in a shop that did the same, and the real reason they do that is because that's really the real reason most people buy knives. I would say it's only been in the last decade or so that people have really taken a look at knives and swords and shit like that for the survival purposes. When the whole survival thing really started to revamp itself in the mid-late 2000s. That's when I started seeing more people actually asking for good quality knives. For the most part, though, those knife shops, even when we went to the cons, everybody wants fantasy stuff. Nobody wants, everybody wants the movie sword, the anime sword. Uh, I've seen some knives. I've actually seen in person some knives made from railroad spikes. There was a guy at a convention that we went to in Las Vegas. I think it was the Army and Navy surplus convention. And he had a couple of antique knives, and he was showing off a knife that was made. Well, he said it was made from old railroad spikes. He also had some really cool French daggers. They called them French political daggers. And if you guys don't know, back in a few hundred years ago in France, not only were the French backstabbers, they had these really fucked up knives that were 3-edged and 4-edged blades, where they would actually stick like their colors or their little banners on them, and they would assassinate people with them and leave them there, so you know who did it. And it's a really strange thing, but yeah, the fantasy stuff unfortunately is what makes the most money in the swords. I'll give you an example. I can buy I can buy a case of 12 of those zombie slayer kukris, those really cheap kukris made out of stainless steel, for about, what was the last price? About $78. And I would sell each of them for about 25, $30 a piece. Yeah, I'm gonna make a ton of money out of that, you know? So because if I'm buying them for like, if I'm buying the case for $90 for 12, I'm spending what, $8, 8 and change on each one, and then I'm asking for 30. I'm tripling my money. Two, a lot of people don't know really about quality knives. If you talk about like kitchen knives, thanks to people, thanks to all the cooking shows that are out there, the Hankley knives, the Japanese sushi knives, more people will know about those knives. Not so much their names, but that they exist, that they will so much about self-defense knives. The only recent thing that's driven the notice to self-defense knives are video games. If you guys remember about a decade back, back in like 2009, well, yeah, but 2008, 2010, the karambit. Everybody was about the karambit knife. If you don't know what a karambit knife is, it's a knife that has a loop on the end as a pommel, and it curves like a claw. And it was on, I think it was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, back in 2007, 2008. That's where they first showed it off. And every kid and their fucking mom and brother and dad, they wanted a karambit. Now, and here's the thing. Yeah, we sold karambits. We sold those fucking cheap karambits. But back then, the only company who made a decent karambit was Cold Steel, and they discontinued it in 2006. So it was pretty hard to get, and the karambit went for about $146. So it was pretty out of the common man's reach, you know. Mocha! Hey, you better not be destroying the farm down there. Farm. There's plants over there. And there's actually vegetable plants down there, and I don't want her ruining them. So, yeah, it's lack of knowledge. Only recently, again with the video games, has people actually started asking. Movies as well, like for example, the kukris. I mean, everybody knows the shape of this knife from one fucking movie. If you grew up in the 2000s, Resident Evil. Resident Evil, okay? This is to the teenagers of the 2000s, the Resident Evil knife. This was you know, Mia Jojo, whatever her name is, her zombie slaying knives. So that's how we know about those kind of exotic knives. Or everybody knows what a K-bar is, but because it's a military knife, not because of you've done your research. You just know of it because it's been in pop culture. So, and it's unfortunate, because there's a lot of good knives that are out there and from different parts of the world. Like the kukri is great. The kukri is a great knife, and it's one of my favorite knives. But like one that I never, I've seen, but I never knew about, and although I have the cheap version of it, but I do like it, is this Canadian, the Canadian belt knife. I'll go back to this one again. Blade's not that big on it. I think blade's about almost the same. And it's about 4 or 5 millimeters off of the pocket out of my everyday carry. But again, this is a lot lighter. This is about, I would say this is 5 or 6 times the weight of this. But it does have but it's solid. It's full tang. I can put a loop there. But again, this is a design that came from Canada, supposedly, but it became popular in the U.S. Back in the old Western days because of hunters, and these were apparently used for skinning. in the north and in the west and the southwest, if I remember correctly. And aside from this one, there's another knife called the roach belly, which is a knife that curves, upward, but it's about as small as this one, just a half an inch bigger or so. And that was also used for skinning, and that has its origins, I believe, in Northern Europe. And they're really good designs, and there's companies that make better knives of them out there. Just people don't know. So, and then finally, other reason you don't see good quality knives in places is they cost a lot of money, even to the store owner. Cold Steel at one point actually was guilty of this as well. I'll give you an example. Like these machetes for the small markets, or basically mom and pop shops, you'd buy this for about 11 to 13 bucks. And back then, these were selling for about 20 to $23, which is 22 is about the average now. On Amazon, when they are on sale, you can get them for as low as 16. So it's hard. It was hard for companies to compete selling that stuff, and because they weren't really making a profit. It's okay. You bought it for 13. You got to sell it for 20, or you got to sell it for 16 because your competitor's selling it for 16. And so you made $3. So for a while there wasn't an incentive to do that, but we got Amazon now, so we don't really have to worry about shit like that no more. Um, that's kind of one of the beauty of it. All right. Well, what else can we talk about? Now, if you guys have any questions regarding knives or anything like that, uh, I'd be more than happy to answer them. I mean, I'm not an expert by any fucking means. I hope I've made that clear in the way that I speak, that I'm no fucking expert. Uh, but I will try to answer the questions to the best of my capabilities. Put this guy back. Okay. Oh, I've actually been going on for almost an hour. Oh shit. Oh. Alright. What time is it? Actually, you know what, guys? I'll keep this going for about 10 more minutes, and then I am going to get going. I'm actually running low on weed. I'm gonna have to go get some weed. There's my soda. But I guess I could just finish off showing you guys progress in the bag. So, other thing I have here in this other compartment is multi-tool. Gotta have that. And emergency blanket. I actually need to get like maybe 2 more to put in here, and they should fit just fine. And here I got my water purification. Got one of those Sawyer water filters. Oh shit, you know what? I am a dick. I did not realize that until now. But you know what? I didn't even get a notification, did I? Oh, I did get a notification. Wait, no, I didn't. Hey, is Evan not streaming today? If anybody's on, did you guys know if Slab City News is streaming today? Because I didn't get a notification. But yeah, the cleaning kit for it, the actual filter, the straw. So I keep my water filtration stuff here in this top bag. Then I have a small medical kit. By no means is this actually a, good medical kit. It's just a half-ass medical kit with some bandages, some antibiotics, and some pills. Obviously not a tourniquet or anything super fancy. Okay. So pretty much showed you guys that. Close this up. I actually gotta put this Canadian belt knife back in here. Oh, Canada. That's what I get for talking about Canada, right? And then here in this little pocket here, have my fire starter, which is a bunch of cotton balls, super generously bathed in petroleum jelly. and fire steel. Got this one on Amazon for what was it, like $10. 6 inches, about a half-inch thick. So that'll last me for quite a while. And as you see, I've already pretty much tested it to use it. Um, they have smaller 5-inch ones that are still half-inch thick. Uh, they have them on sale right now, two for $14.99, and that's actually not a bad uh, idea to go grab some of those for you if you guys need them. So, all right, well that's that bag. I guess let me show you guys before I end it. The waste bag. So, waste bag is for the most part still a work in progress. Right now, I just really have mostly filler stuff. Start with the side pockets here. Entertainment. Not You're not always gonna have fucking power. Also, if you have a limited amount of power or limited amount of resources to get power, the last thing you need to be fucking doing is wasting all your phone or tablet, energy doing stupid shit like playing video games. Okay? Especially if you're in a situation where you're gonna eventually need to communicate with somebody for assistance of any kind. So having some kind of analog entertainment is always good. In my case, deck of cards. Not that great of cards, but I just have them. These happen to be from G&G Armament. I ended up grabbing these at SHOT Show 2012 when I went in Las Vegas at the Venetian Hotel. They were a little freebie they gave me. It's a full deck. It has all their airsoft replica guns on the cards, so just a neat thing to have. But this is, again, another work in progress thing that I have to work on. Probably like a little notepad and paper wouldn't be such a bad thing to carry in there. Next little pocket over here on the side. Fishing yo-yos. This side right here is going to be like a little area for fishing and hunting. I decided to go with the yo-yos because aside from actually using them as fishing equipment for fishing, you can use them as clotheslines. I can even use them as snares for small game like rodents and rabbits. Rabbit is a rodent, so I need to get a small box to put in here so that I can put hooks and little weights and things like that. And I do have more fishing equipment. I'll get to that in a moment. I have another pocket right here at the top. Got another emergency blanket right there. I did that because you never know. You never know what could happen. I could be falling down a hill or down a really swiftly flowing river and all that shit, and I can lose either that pack or this pack. So I gotta have a way to, if I need that to warm myself up, have it either one in one or the other. So if I lose one, I have it in the other one. Okay. So I can fit 2 or 3 more in there. Inside. Oh, wait. Other small pocket in the front. Bandana. Not much in there yet. Not much in there yet at all. So again, this one is still kind of a work in progress, but it'll be done. I'm finding stuff to put in here. Now the main compartment. Up here, I got water purification tablets. Aqua tabs. Now, fortunately, they have instructions on them, so I just read those. Oh, wait, no, they don't have instructions on them. I'm fucked. Oh, crap, I'm fucked. Just kidding, guys. I actually have the instructions right here for all of them, so not worried. I know how to use them. Okay? There's the instructions. Let's see. One AquaTab tablet will produce 2.6 ppm available chlorine solution when dissolved in 2 quarts of water. Okay? Meh. Alright, let's put that back in there. So I have a way to purify water if for some reason I lose my pack with the Sawyer filter in it. Now, inside here I have 2 things. A really condensed pack, long sheet of thick foil, and an Esprit stove. Now I have some fire starter chemically stuff in there, but you can use wood and stuff in those, and I've used them before. I've never actually had to use it, but I've used them. I have an older style magnesium fire starter. This one's pretty old. I've had it for about a decade, so it works. So extra way to start fire, so I keep that in there. Put that back in here. Now you guys will probably remember this from my trip to Slab City. The solar powered bug light, which basically can use either standard USB charger or a USB solar charger, which I do have. There's a little clip to hang it up. That light right there is for the bug zapper. Then you have three brightness options. Now, this is the only light system I have in this bag. It is not ideal for me to only have this light system in this bag. I need to be honest about that. I should have at least, aside from this, 2 flashlights and a signal light of some kind. Fortunately, I am going to take a trip right in a little while to Home Depot. I get paid on Thursday. And the reason I want to do that is I'm going to have to make the video offline because I'm going to have my tablet. My phone's still broken. So right now there's some good deals going on at Home Depot for tools and flashlights and shit like that. And some of the stuff I actually think would be great to have for survival equipment. So I would like to cover some of that stuff and actually go to the Home Depot and film that. So that'll be my next step as far as that goes. Now, I said I had more fishing equipment. Micro fishing rod. Okay, look. I'm going to be real with you. This is not fucking ideal at all. Not a fucking ideal whatsoever. But it's something, okay? It's something that is not just the yo-yo reels, or it's not just me using my hands or me using a stick, okay? This actually works. The lever actually works. This rod will actually extend out. Okay. So I get about a yardstick length full. So it'll work. Actually, sir, you're not first. And Evan, I have a question for you, sir. Did you do your live today? Did you do your live stream today? Because I did not get a notification. But yeah, I got no notification, Evan, that you did any Slab City News today. Did you do Slab City News today? Did you not do it? Well, what the fuck? Hold on. Yeah, I have no notification from Slab City News. That is bullshit, alright? I'll be honest. I thought it was a little weird that you weren't streaming at around 3 o'clock, so I just went on with it and said, fuck it. Dude, if I wouldn't... That's why people disappeared for a bit. You know, I don't blame anybody, but... It's okay, you hate us. I don't hate you guys. Who said that? But anyways... but yeah, I understand. This is a ridiculous fishing system to carry in case of an emergency. And it's mainly meant as a novelty. But I've actually pulled fish out of with these fucking things, guys. Last year, I pulled out about 6 tilapia from the Lake Balboa. Now, biggest one was about 2.25 pounds. It's a nice hearty fish for food, you know. So as long as it could do that, it should work just fine. The reel is surprisingly solid for what it is. Are there other options? Yes, there are. I mean, I could carry a full-size reel, or maybe like an ultralight reel, like a 200. Maybe nothing bigger. Actually, no, even a 300 would be too big. So it's like a 200 or less. But the rod would be the issue. Yes, they have longer collapsible rods, but they will never collapse to this size, guys. I mean, where's my knife? Here's the my Slab City approved knife right here. You know, smaller than a knife, so can't really beat that. Can't really beat that. Now I do gotta say though, before it becomes my little survival fishing rod, I am going to change this line out to braided line. I'm gonna put 10-pound braid on it. It's not gonna be able to. I'm actually kind of debating whether I should put braid on it or not because it's plastic spool. The plastic spool might be damaged by it. But either way, it's either going to be 10-pound braid or it's going to be 6-pound 6-pound mono. And fortunately, the cool thing about this stuff is if you guys go to Walmart at Hey Dog Pound, if you go to Walmart, they sell 100 yards of mono for about 97 cents to $1.16. So depending on where you live, and one of those will fill up these very quick. And again, this will take 90 yards to 6 pounds. And then I would be wise just to carry a deck heavier set one for, regular hand fishing. Here's a little solar panel that originally came with the bug zapper that I took to the slabs. Fucking airplane! And that fits all nice and snug in there. Still have plenty of room to fit more stuff. Now, as far as the goal as to what I need for this here is I'm looking at ultralight gas stoves. I wasn't really too keen on the idea of ultralight gas stoves when I first saw them. They looked very dinky and delicate. They were also ridiculously expensive for what the fuck they were. They have gone down in price though. I know some of the the Chinese knockoffs of the decent ones have actually become decent ones. Uh, there's a kit on Amazon that is actually I'm planning to get. It's going to go in here. It's basically an entire mess kit. It's a small skillet, a small pan, it's kind of like a small saucepan kind of thing, and it comes with a spork and knife, a mixing bowl, a spatula. Basically, it comes with everything you need to prep your food, and it comes with one of the micro gas stoves, and then you just buy the fuel separate. So I'm deeply considering one of those to go in here. Aside from that, again, analog entertainment. I only have a deck of cards in here as far as analog entertainment. I do need to find more forms of analog entertainment to just put that's only supposed to fit in here. Then other things I have been considering as well are they have you can buy them on Amazon now, but it's the kind of like the medical kits that the military carries, IFAK, something like that. What was that? I actually haven't weighed the pack. If I had to say, I guesstimate it right now, this is less than 5 pounds for the waist pack. This is a sling pack. This is 2 pounds right now. But now, actually, now that you're here at Slab City News, take your advice. Got one of the Sawyer. Well, I got the smaller one. I got the 100,000 gallon filtered one here. And they were. What did I buy? I actually bought it like a month ago. They were on sale on Amazon, so I just decided to pick them up. I think they were like $16. But the thing that I needed the most that I could not find for one of these was a hydration pack. But I went to well, it's not local. It's like I have to drive about an hour and 20 minutes to get there. But I went to Alhambra, California, and I went to a shop called Evike.com. EVIKE.com. It is, they used to be just an airsoft shop, and well, now they sell a bunch of other things too. So airsoft gear, tactical gear, fishing gear too. That caught me off guard. But I actually been shopping with them when I used to do airsoft for a long time, even though they were a competitor of the shop that I worked at. But I picked this up. This is a 1.5 liter hydration bag, guys. So obviously, anywhere you go, regardless whether it's Slab City, the coast, you want to have drinking water, nice fresh drinking water. However, one thing you've got to consider is water will weigh you down the most. That is the biggest drawback to a hydration pack. 2 liters of water weigh more than 5 pounds, I believe. So if you and they make 3 liter ones, so it's you restrict yourself when you add more weight to it. So I was able to find this guy. I think it was $13 was the price. It's about 8 pounds a gallon. Okay, shit. So 4 liters are for 1 gallon is 4 liters. So it'd be about 4 or 5. Yeah, about 4.5 pounds for a 2 liter. And about 6 pounds for a 3 liter bag, plus the weight of the bag. So again, it'll still weigh you. One of those big ones will weigh you down. So I wanted to make this system so that I can still carry enough water to last me at least half a day on a hot day, but you depend on the the filtration system here in order to procure more water on site if need be, and I can just clean that water and pack it in here. And also I kept the little bag that it came with so that I can just store some fluid in there. Now I am not. Now the cool thing about this, for $13, it's the bag plus the line, and it's a bite valve. Right there. And the bite valves can actually be swapped. So that's kind of neat. He has an on and off switch right here. Now the thing I need to figure out though is how to, and I've seen people do it, adapt the Sawyer. I know there's a way you can adapt the Sawyer filter to a hydration kit. But from what I have here, I don't really see a way to do it. So I'm assuming that there's probably some adapter or something that I'm going to need before I can do it this way. So again, that's probably one of the coolest things I was able to find recently for it. Now, I don't ever plan to really fill it the whole way up either, because it does end up taking space in the bag. Also, I carry the tablet that in line, you have to cut the tube. You have to cut the tube. Shit. I don't want to do that. That's such a nice... Oh, wait. You know what? I forgot. These are the detachable tubes. The ones that screw on. So maybe I could just... Before I do that, I have another one. I actually have one with a 3 liter. I don't think... Let me see if that one has a hose compatible with this one. And then I can just stick around with that one and cut that one down. And put the adapter on it. Okay, well, thanks for letting me know. So now I know for sure on that. But yeah, I do have to be careful though, because this is where I carry. This is where I carry a tablet too. So gotta be careful about the water. It is sealed tight though. It does have a good seal. I already tested the seal for it. Well, that's what I'm gonna do, Evan. I have another one of the same maker, but it's a 3 liter. I just need to see if I can get the hose from that one, because it came with its own hose and bite valve. And just cut that one and see if it works. Because if it doesn't, you just get another one of these, and they're swappable for the meantime. The whole point is to have the water accessible and have a way to carry the water, but it's not gonna burden me, because again, the 2-3 liters, that's a lot of weight to carry. I used to, for some fucking reason, well, I'll be honest, I used to do it to keep it cool. When I played airsoft, I always played in the sense of like a role. Like when you think like the Battlefield video games, there was the medic, support, assault, engineer, things like that. I always played the support role, so I always had big guns, automatic, supporting fire and carrying extra supplies. So I would carry a lot of gear with me, and my dumbass one day got the idea, hey, I'm gonna get a 3 liter hydration pack so that in the summer I can just freeze it or put a bunch of ice in it, and then just run around and be all cool, nice and cold. Not thinking, hey, dumbass, you're adding an extra 6 to 8 pounds of, more weight to yourself, and you're just gonna exert yourself even more. And yeah, that's pretty much what ended up happening. I ended up just exerting myself more than I really needed to. But yeah, this bag here, I'm pretty much close to done setting up. Just a few little things here and there. Uh, I originally started the stream talking about knives because we saw, I don't know, Evan, you saw Alien's last video, right? Where he basically had that little 2-minute interview with the guy who got stabbed over in the slabs. And, I started kind of talking to the guys about that. What's kind of a cool knife to, or not a cool knife, but what would be a good knife to carry out there with the situation that's going on. But all right, I've actually an hour and 15. Whatever. I can go on a little longer. Yeah. So big consideration, and especially since I already have it, would be one of these. This is again the Cold Steel Tanto Light, 6-inch blade. Very, very sharp. It's almost 3 millimeters thick. 4116 stainless. Very nice Kraton grippy handles. And 5 ounces. Only 5 ounces. So very quick, very sharp, and you got reach. But I have an advantage with these knives because, let's show you guys. This is my practice knife. I've actually had this knife longer than I've had this knife. This knife I picked up, I believe, in April or June. No, April or May. This has been with me since 2009. So I have... It's a copy of the Cold Steel Recon 1 Tanto, which this is actually not that far off from. The Recon 1 Tanto just has a slightly bigger blade, and a slightly shorter handle. But overall, they're almost exactly the same blade. So I know how to use this one. I've practiced because this is my practice piece. I was taught how to use these. So having a knife that meets the same profile, it's kind of a no-brainer for me. Obviously, for other people, it'll vary. If if I wanted to show off, if I wanted to get attention to myself and be badass, I can take my kukri. But as I was saying earlier, this is fucking 2 pounds. Okay, this is a 2-pound knife. Yes, it is a big blade. It's a 12-inch blade. I can use it. I have very comfortable grip with the handle. I was actually able to fix the hole issue that it had right there. They actually didn't. It's not that they didn't drill it all the way. They did drill through. They just didn't take off the shavings from the inside. So I just cleaned it up a little bit with the drill bit by hand. And now I can put a lanyard in it so I can make it more secure. But again, heavy. And I'm trying to practice size and weight constraint. So the other option we spoke of was this one right here. This is the Cold Steel Kukri Machete. Just as long as that kukri right there. Much thinner though. This is actually slightly thinner than the Tanto knife itself. These are 2.5 millimeters thick. They are very sharp though. It's a very, very sharp blade. That's a full tang blade. Also, you have the loop right there at the bottom so that I can, make it more secure. And again, this is light. I can wave this around all day. And the black, will cut any glare or special attention that can be cut to it. But again, it's the size. It can still draw attention. Maybe not at night because of how dark it is. But if I get up close to anybody and they see it, it can intimidate somebody. It could, it could caution somebody more and make them think that I'm more of a menace than I actually, am trying to be or that I am, So while something like this could be very ideal to carry right now with that situation that happened in the slabs, at the same time, I don't want to be drawing so much attention to myself like in that light. The Tanto gives me the option of it's being small. It can be concealed, but you can get into legal issues for that. Just take into consideration. But my big thing with the size and weight constraint issue is I want the knife to be able to fit in the pack. So if I cannot carry it on my belt, I can put it in the pack inside. Or one of the cool things this pack has is this pack has these little webs on the side. So if I were to, you know, here, let me just take this off because I need to actually redo it. It's been loosening up. If I were to just, you know, slide that down there. There you go. See? Holds it nice, holds it snug. But obviously, if I flipped it around, it would honestly be easier to draw. But it can fit there. It could fit inside the. It can fit inside the bag. No protrusions. No questions. You know. So that's kind of the limit I'm setting myself. It's not necessarily a limit anybody else has to take. But it's not you know, it's really up to you. But again, I'm not trying to intimidate or scare anybody or show that I'm some kind of badass. I just want to have something proficient, useful, and good enough to work. I will take that knife away from you and shave you with it. No, you won't. How are you doing, Suicidal Porn Star? I haven't seen you in a bit. I know, dude. I know. Don't worry. You're alright, my bookman. Let's see. Let's go through that one more time. Already went through the water filter. Aside from that, a sharpener. Always gotta have a sharpener. There's my sharpener again. 400 grit on one side, 600 on the other. You can use water. Honing oil would be best. Actually, I found out something else you can do as well. WD-40. However, if you do decide to use WD-40 with something like this, you got to be careful because the glue that they put these together with sucks. So they will come apart eventually. What I ended up doing with the other one that I have is I have some C-clamps and I had some Loctite, not Loctite, what's that stuff called? JB Weld. And I just JB welded it back together and worked out just fine. Spit, yeah, spit will actually also work just as fine. The other knife, always should carry a food processing knife. In this case, this one's another cold steel knife. This is a Canadian belt knife made out of the same metal. What was it? 4116 German Krupp stainless steel. These were used back in the day for skinning, for processing meat. So, should be good enough for doing the same thing now for food prep and everything. Hey, and honestly, you could use a knife like this for self-defense. But like I explained earlier, the smaller the knife you get for self-defense, the more of a handicap you give your opponent. So, yeah. Let's close that back up. I've seen those too, but you know, I don't disrespect anybody who likes them. I actually ended up buying one for my dad for Christmas. He wanted we went to a gun show a few months back, and as you guys know, if you guys know who Cutco is the big company who owns a lot of knife companies, and the Cutco had a booth there, and they had a limited edition K-bar with the Cutco marking on it that had a lifetime warranty, but they wanted $240 fucking dollars for it. I said no, don't. I told my dad, don't spend the fucking money. That's insane. It was basically the K-bar D12 Extreme model, which is supposed to be their best fighting knife now, but you're paying $230 more or $130 more for the Cutco logo. K-bar knives already have a lifetime warranty, so there's no fucking reason to brandish that out like it's something special. So I ended up showing him, like, look, this is the one. If you want that, here's a regular one. They're like 110. In the end, we ended up looking at it. He didn't like it. He wanted more of a. He liked the Marine Corps knife. The one thing he doesn't like is serration, which I don't like serrations on my knives either. They are great for, for like chopping up small wood and stuff like that, or plant stuff. But serrations are a bitch to fucking sharpen. This sharpener will not help me sharpen serrations. I'd have to get one of those pointed files that are like in a stick shape, ones that are actually meant more for fish hooks and darts to properly sharpen the serrated teeth. But I was able to get him a K-bar fighting knife, all black, no serrations. That's his Christmas gift. Actually, well, fortunately, he doesn't watch my YouTube channel, so I'm not spoiling the surprise there. But yeah, I got knives for a lot of people this year for Christmas. But K-bars make good knives. The K-bar also makes a kukri. I just skinned tooth ear season with an old timer. It hasn't been sharpened in years. It holds an edge really good. Oh, that's cool. An old timer. You mean those old back liner lock knives, right? The ones that had the little slit that you pull out with your nail, and the lock is usually at the bottom in the back. Or is it an actual, like, is it a folding skinning knife, or is it a solid oh, it's in a sheath. Okay, so it's a fixed blade skinning knife. Old timer, huh? Okay, I've never heard of that one. I might have to look it up. Aside from the Canadian belt knife is actually new to me. When I picked it up because it was like $9 and change on Amazon, and I liked it. I honestly thought I didn't think I was gonna like it, but it seems pretty good. So hey, I put it in the pack, right? So it has a gut. It's like a gut hook without the. Okay, you know what? That could probably be the one that I know as roach belly, maybe, because there is a knife. Cold Steel also makes a copy of it too. It has a bit of like a reverse claw, but the sharp end, it curves upwards, and the sharp end is at the bottom, obviously, and they're usually hollow ground. It's curved, yeah. Okay, that could be it. The one I'm talking about. I know it as that's the roach belly then. But yeah, I do want to get one of those. Except I'm waiting for the one I want to get a Cold Steel one. Because when they go on sale, they're like $9 and change. Dude, I like Cold Steel knives. It's just they're so fucking affordable. They're decent knives. Like I'll tell you what. When I went to SHOT Show in 2012, one of the biggest scares in the knife industry was back then. Kershaw had just announced it was predominantly shipping or predominantly doing most of its manufacturing in China. Who else? And another company as well was announcing that they were going to do most of their manufacturing in China. So a lot of people were getting scared because there was going to be not so many made in America knives. Even now the most highest end knife, as far as like pocket knives or Spydercos. Spydercos are very, very high end knives, but they are also very, very expensive. The Spyderco Endura usually start as a decent knife, and that's a polymer handle with a metal blade, and they will start at about $60-$70. You're probably wondering, yeah, that's a little bit of knife for so much money, but they are Spydercos. They are high quality, of extremely sharp, excellent made knives. So when that happened, Cold Steel would also announce that it would be doing the same thing. However, they said that they would also be moving, while they were going to explore Chinese manufacturing, they would also be expanding on their Taiwanese manufacturing, which, if I had to choose between the better of any of the evils, I would go with Taiwan manufacturing for anything. Why? Taiwan manufacturing relies on engineering that's closer to Americans, to what Americans are used to, because they're usually educated in America. So why not? I gotta admit, anything I've bought, most of the stuff I bought from Taiwan, nothing's really gone bad. So, and we actually addressed this with Cold Steel. So they wanted to kind of give us an assurance that the knife was actually that stuff wasn't going to be as bad as people were making it out to be. So they gave us, and you guys can actually look up the knife. The knife is still available. It's called the Cold Steel Kudo, Kudo. It's a very long bladed knife. Its handle is not ergonomic for shit. It has a crazy ring lock system in it. And what do I mean by ring lock system? Is You pull it, you unfold it like you would the old folding knives that didn't have the studs or spring assistance in it. Then the locking mechanism is not at the bottom, like with old backlock knives. It's at the top, and there's a key ring that you have to pull with a lot of strength in order to actually retract and close the knife. Now, this was the first knife that they first were using some kind of new Chinese stainless steel. Then they switched it to the German 4116. Um, it felt flimsy. It was very light. It felt dinky to me at the time. I kind of felt insulted. I gotta admit that they gave it to me. I honestly thought at first that this could have been a joke, and my boss took it as a joke. My boss was actually kind of offended, thinking, "Wow, I buy so much shit from them to sell for many years, and they give me a fucking dollar. They give me a dollar knife, as a sample." Um, but I kept mine, and I have to admit, for something that I thought was total garbage, it turned out to be a really great knife. It didn't have a thick profile. The blade was only about 2 millimeters, uh, but it could hold a really nice edge, and it could hold a very thin and sharp edge. It would be too big for skinning. Again, you guys can look it up. It's called the Cold Steel Kudo, Kudo. It would be way too big for skinning, um, but the locking system in it, as ridiculous as it was solid. It was very, very solid. There was no way that knife was going to accidentally break off that lock and just come back down and cut your fingers. And there's no way you were going to disengage that lock by pressure or twisting your hand in any way, shape, or form. That ring requires a strong pull back for you to actually take down the knife. Um, and apparently, it was a design that they had that they it was inspired in Africa. So ever since then, I've kind of just stuck with Cold Steel stuff, and especially now that they came out with their Light series, it's all been pretty good. Their machetes are great. I mean, I bought this one as a gift. I was actually going to send this to the UK to somebody, but I found out at the end after I ordered it, they didn't no longer had a PO box. Then I was going to send it to another channel that I will sub to. That person no longer had a PO box. So this is actually my second Cold Steel Kukri machete, and this would be light enough to go easy. Honestly, this will give me reach. I already know how to use a kukri. I'd be able to use this fast. Move with this faster than I could the Nepalese kukri. But again, very big, very showy. You know, calls attention to itself unnecessarily. But yeah. Oh, I agree. I agree. Porn star. Here's the thing, though. If the situation calls for it, obviously, fucking do so. Um, I'm just. How would you say? I'm trying to be civilized about it, or to quote Obi-Wan. To quote Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is a elegant weapon for a more civilized age. Kind of shit. Uh, and another thing too, a gun is loud. So, if I had to, do that dirty deed and then get the fuck out of Dodge, it'd be a lot easier, without making loud noises. So, if you get what I mean. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, I said Obi-Wan Kenobi, not Obi Junkanobi. How's it going? How's it going, man? How's it going, Enlighten? Shit, what time is it? It's 4 o'clock. I need to go get some more weed, but I'm gonna wait a little bit. I'm trying to want traffic to die down a little bit. Force is strong today. Yeah, man, you had a long live stream the other day. I saw. Well, I couldn't see all of it. It's just, it's really hard for me to watch a live stream for more than an hour. You see my pothead neighbor coming down my driveway. But, but yeah, again, I was kind of just inspired to make the video after the whole watching the guy, the whole dude. That was I gotta say, I'll talk about it now. That was a fucking nasty gash that dude has on his ass. I mean, sorry it rhymes, but that's just that was fucked, man. I mean, already fucked enough that they went behind his back to do it. That's some fucking cowardly shit. But they went for his ass of all fucking places, Just, I got one. Yeah, I got two, man. I got one too. Right here. This is the Smith & Wesson Border Guard 6th generation. I usually carry the second or the first generation for a long time. And then I switched to this one. This is a lot lighter than the first and second gen. Yes, Tommy is on his... Tommy and Selena and another guest with them are on their way back to the slabs right now. If everything goes right, they should be there sometime tonight. I do believe that he's going to go see Pastor Dave. I believe his name. Or some pastor over there, and he's got maybe some arrangement with them. Oh, you did? Cool, man. Yeah, no, they're great knives. And when they're on sale, fucking Big Five, dude, it's a steal. It's a steal. Do a takeover of the treehouse. Tommy doesn't want to be in the canal anymore. I asked him. Originally, actually, I was kind of getting excited at the thought of it, but technically, the man who fucked him over isn't even really there anymore. So, and that was Lewis. So, Tommy. He's really about trying to be the Christian type. So, not gonna tell the man not who his enemies should and shouldn't be, but he doesn't want to see it that way. So. He's going to be moving into the slabs. If for whatever reason the thing with the pastor guy doesn't work out, he's going to find some spot somewhere in the slabs. I suggested he should go to Cause. He should go to the Eco Village and talk with him. I mean, I don't think they see eye to eye with many of things, but Cause did come out and in his defense, when he really didn't have to, and. At least probably Cause can show him where he can rebuild. I already promised him that I would help him out. So, only thing I got to do right now is I got to take care of these two abscess teeth, pull them the fuck out. And then once I'm healed up from that, I'm gonna head over there for a weekend, help do what I can to help build. I'm kind of excited. I'm excited for Tommy. I'm glad they're kind of coming back. That was fucking dirty how they were pushed out, and a lot of people pretty much seen it that way. And I have to admit, I am so fucking happy Lewis got the fucking karma he deserved. It's so fucking funny, the irony of the dumb motherfucker to just have the same shit happen to him and then flee to the slabs because I don't have to worry about that shit because that shit doesn't happen here. Well, that shit didn't have to fucking happen over there either. You perpetrated and you pushed for it. Now you're fucking being a hypocrite and running away from the fucking very thing that you were supporting. People are fucking amazingly stupid. They really are. They really are fucked up and stupid. And yeah, he honestly got what the fuck he deserved. Okay. He can learn guitar all the fuck he wants. That ain't gonna fucking do him any good anywhere else. No, Enlighten. He's going into the slabs. He's actually going to live in the slabs. Something about having an arrangement with a pastor that's over there, that they have a spot for him, or where he can do his thing, or His plan B will be though that if it doesn't work out there, is he'll find a spot within the slab still to rebuild. And I've already told him that I'd help him go rebuild. Other people have told him to help him rebuild. Actually, suicidal porn star. Now we're fucking talking about, you're talking about guitars. Before I head out there, I should really go to Guitar Center and go check out their value bin and go pick up some like acoustic strings. I'm pretty sure something, that would be good trade or just something good to take out there. Yeah, yeah, it'd probably be like a barterable thing out there while I'm there. If I need to get some booze or weed or something. Got a $10 clip-on tuner. No, dude, I'm talking about the discount bin, alright? I'm talking about that bin where they have all that shit that they haven't been able to sell in 12 plus years, The one with the bin with the $3 set of strings, a $450 set of for a 7-string guitar that no one ever has. They might have some cheaper ones. I can probably look at Amazon too. I haven't been to a Guitar Center in a while. I think the last Guitar Center I went to was the one on Sunset Boulevard. It desperately needed a tuner. Yeah. Here's the thing though, they all got cell phones, right? They have digital tuners. You can get a free tuner app. If they have phones. Yo, I got this with the less than 10 to left, but I wish it had spring assist. Oh, the weight makes up for it, though. Wicke, or Witch, welcome, by the way, to the stream. I do agree with you, though. For the weight of these knives, you would think they should already, have it. But the Border Guard series, especially the one on in the first video I made, that was a Gen 2, and the one prior to that was a Gen 1. Spring assistant wasn't still a big thing back then. The beauty of the Border Guard, again, as I mentioned in the video, it's big, it's bulky, and it looks like it's gonna fuck you up. That's the beauty of it. And even unopened, that's the beauty right here of the Border Guard. Your glass breaker. You don't have to open this knife to start a fight. Because that's one thing you got to consider. In California, excessive force can land you in jail. And you always got to mitigate the amount of force that you respond in. And believe me, I'm an 100% completely agree with suicide porn star. Grab a 45 and blow the fuck out of it. You get blown the fuck out of the earth. But unfortunately, in California, where criminals have more fucking rights than fucking, than the common man, you got to be careful about that shit. So a knife is kind of more the common divider, and it's going to be the more common weapon used out there. Worst case scenario, you can, if you were that much of a jackass, and I don't recommend it, would be to just carry a cheap knife on the side with no fingerprints on it, throw it in the scene, be like, he tried to knife me. Again, don't recommend that. Just a joke. And guns are also loud. Main thing is they're loud. So, if it's a situation where you have to be quiet, it's in Arkansas it's open carry. That's a whole fucking video on its own. California gun laws are pretty draconian, guys. They're pretty fucked. Let me put it to you this way: right now, they're trying to in California, they're trying to turn any semi-automatic firearm. Listen to me, not rifle, not shotgun, not handgun. Firearm. So basically anything that's semi-automatic count as an assault rifle. And the parameters of it is basically if it takes a detachable magazine that fits 10 rounds or more. No, I bet. Dude, I lived in San Antonio for a year, and that's where I bought my first gun at a gun show there. And hell, everybody was really ready and open to tell me, hey, just whatever you do, just if you're gonna carry it with you, just leave it in your car so you don't get in trouble with the police. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? I was like, I wasn't planning to carry it in the car, but they're like, no, yeah, you can carry a loaded gun in your car, Texas. I was like, really? Tell me more. Being a born Californian, I really needed to know this, and they told me, yeah, there's issue with carjackings in Texas, so it's actually very common for people to fucking carry guns in Texas. And back then in 2013, actually a lot of shops were selling the Taurus Judge, and they were selling the latest version of it, the polymer one with the short barrel called there was, I think it was the Taurus Protector Judge, something like that. Now, the only reason I didn't go for that at first, because the old guy that was trying to sell it to me was trying to tell me that, oh, just put birdshot in this and no one's gonna go after you. I was like, come on, dude, birdshot, really? I get it. I get what you're asking for, and I get that a carjacking is not gonna happen at more than fucking 2 yards, but birdshot is just a lot of birdshot is smaller than fucking a 177 BB. So, and if the person's really fucked up on on meth, or on meth or PCP, they probably won't even fucking feel it. Oh, 1 second. Let me see. Is there a big knife you suggest that has spring assist that I have handled personally? With which no. I have seen a couple that I have been very curious about. I believe that Cold Steel last year released a knife that has about a 6.5-inch blade. It's a folding knife, and it is spring assisted. But again, I'm not 100% sure. I would worry though with big knives and spring assistance, because the bigger the knife, the more weight it would have to be, and then obviously there'd have to be more weight in the handle to compensate for a stronger spring to push it out. So I would imagine a bigger spring assistant knife would end up being much more bulkier. My thing is, if for anything past anything past 5.5 inches, just go with the fixed blade. Again, now these are my everyday carries, because in LA can't carry fixed blades. Sally Rock, do you forge knives? No, I don't forge knives. It would be cool to learn to forge knives. That would actually be a nice survival thing to learn, is learning how to forge metals and shit like that. But no, I don't. I can forge a sandwich. That's what I can do. I probably what I'm going to do for dinner today. I am going to forge myself a sandwich. Yep. And then some dude made them do it, and they changed in 2011. It used to be when they got released from prison, they'd have to give you a horse and a 6-shooter. Well, it used to be when you got out of prison, you had your rights back. Fucking prison system is a little bit awkward these days. People lose their rights for a lot of stupid shit these days. Shit that honestly they should not be losing their rights to. But unfortunately, it is what it is. Now, back to the open carry question. California is supposed to start coming up with open carry laws for guns, because they did lose a court case in the Superior Court, where they got sued because a lot of counties like LA County, Oakland, and certain other ones were making it almost impossible for people to get concealed carry permits. The reason they were originally getting away with not allowing open carry in California anymore was because they lost a lawsuit where they had to start doing concealed carry permits. But these cities started acting like assholes and adding all these loops and red tape. Some other counties, some people found ways around it. For example, for people who live in the most northern point of California, most of them will go to Kern County or Ventura County to go get their CCW permits. They're actually much more easier to get there. Orange County was at one point a place where people would also go and do the same. Not so much anymore. I'm figuring also now that the city actually turned into a blue city, it's not going to be easier anymore. How does it work with weed, with legal weed and firearms, having both as a federal crime? Technically, it still is. Yeah, it technically still is. Really just depends on the arresting officer. You'd actually have to have, basically, in order for them to make a deal about it, you'd actually have to have a federal agent come to your house and arrest you, or have a federal agent commission a local agency, a law enforcement agency, to come and get you. Which, if it's legal here in the state, they're just going to look at the federal agent and say no. There's also a lot of issues between some issues between federal agents and local law enforcement in California, due to a little issue that a lot of people have started to forget about, that happened in the 80s and the early 90s with a black gentleman named Rick Ross, or Freeway Ricky Ross. So now that would be something interesting for you guys to look at. Look up the story of Freeway Ricky Ross and how the FBI and it was, I think, the CIA at the time was threatening to kill LAPD officers because they wanted them to collaborate uh, with basically the biggest crack dealer in the world at that time, who was funded by the U.S. government. So, yeah, man, he got, yeah, I'm glad he's out though. I'm glad it was 2013 they let him out. Uh, yeah, man, he got fucked. I'm not saying that the guy didn't do wrong. I mean, he obviously did wrong, but it's obvious that he was set up to do that wrong. All right. Uh, so, oh, okay. Yeah, so you do know. But yeah, in California, again, it would have to be like the FBI or the CIA or some federal agency, that would have to be on your ass, and they'd have to come get you yourself. Now, if you have, the only way it would really probably even strike an issue, I would guesstimate, would be like if you're carrying more than a pound of weed, like here in LA, Measure M, or even for the state, the not supposed to be carrying more than like an ounce of weed on you at one time. Uh, you can only grow 6 plants at once right now, uh, and basically, I think as long as you stay within the legal limits, those 6 plants under an ounce on your person as you're walking around, you might be able to get away with it. Uh, I would avoid the very anti-gun counties here, LA County, Oakland County, uh, the big cities, basically. Just avoid them. Now, Slab City is in Imperial County, so that's why its state rules apply. As far as I've looked into the Imperial County laws, I haven't really seen any laws that really dictate so much the carrying of knives. It seems like they really just point directly to the state's laws, which again, state law is, if you can open carry a fixed blade knife. It has to be open carried, and there's no length limit. Just that it has to be open carried. If your shirt drapes over it and covers even it partially, that's considered concealed carry, and that can get you in trouble. So that is something to consider. In public forum. Yeah, probably wise with probably wise, man. All right, I've been going for almost 2 hours, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. It is, yeah, just past 4:20. Really? Is it just past 4:20? 4:22. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna go smoke the little bit that I have left, and it's gonna start to get dark. So probably gonna head out and go pick up some more. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. If you guys like the video, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm going to try to do another video this week. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about my plans to going back to the slabs. Uh, but just for right now, as far as that goes, I'm going for about a weekend, sometime in January. Trying for mid or late January, the latest. Um, I'm trying not to take all the gear that I took last time, the big old tents, 2 coolers, all of that shit. Basically, I'm going to attempt probably the stupid and almost impossible, and that is turning Honda Fit into a camping vehicle. So I'll talk more about that in another video, guys, or another stream. Thanks for watching, guys. You guys have a great day.